So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of Mind Boost. As you can see today, we have a special guest on today's episode, Gilberto from Italy, or like from Vienna right now, but that's another story. Gilberto, thank you so much for taking the time and maybe introduce yourself to the people that don't know you. Like, who are you? What are you doing? What is your current life situation? Just to give some perspective to the listeners and to the viewers.
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much, Aaron, to actually bring me here. So long story short, I'm Gilberto. I'm 22 years old, from Italy, currently in Vienna because actually my girlfriend lives here. And work-wise, I actually own a social media marketing agency where we help e-commerce brands scale in the European Union and double their monthly revenue within like 16 weeks or less. And yeah, I'm pretty much like a Facebook and TikTok ads nerd, you can say, but I really love this job. And other than that, I really like to travel as well. Of course, now with the COVID situation, is a little bit like, catchy the thing. So might stay here in Vienna a little bit longer than what I expected to be. But yeah, next week I might actually go to Prague. So meet like a few other members of a Mind Plus group. So that's great. But yeah.
Awesome. And how do you like Vienna so far? Because for the people that don't know, like I'm originally from Vienna, so I'm curious to hear what you think of the city.
It's really nice, to be honest. In a way, it's a little bit similar to Milan, I found, but of course it's a little bit smaller. But man, it's cold and really windy nowadays. I don't know why, but it's super windy, and I'm not really used to those kind of weather, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. That's like one of the downsides of of living in Vienna. But yeah, at least in summer it's pretty nice. But during the winter months it's like pretty bad. Yeah. But anyways, so you mentioned you are running an agency. Like I personally can confirm because I personally also worked with Gilberto in the past. Like, he's an absolute beast when it comes to Facebook ads and like, scaling businesses through Facebook ads and Instagram ads. So, by the way, if you are listening right now and if you are having a business or like if you need somebody, to take care of your ads, actually, then, Gilberto is your man. I can confirm that 100%. So please make sure to reach out to Gilberto. But anyway, so maybe, just let us know, how did you actually got into this space, of the agency space, or like, what made you actually start your own business, and why did you actually decide to go, or like stick to the agency pretty much?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually start as a drop shipper back in, I think it was really late 2019, almost 2020. With a friend of mine. He was also from Italy, and we just like run a few store, did a few money, but we didn't really have the cash flow to actually scale things up. So we just stopped, right? And then summer came, and I got in touch with this agency from London, and I just started working with them as a media buyer because that's what I really love. I really love like Facebook ads. So working with them, did amazing experience, really craft all my knowledge and skills, you can say. But then you really come to a point where I was not really get along with them anymore for different reason, and I actually want to do something by my own. And so I think it was April/May 2021, I start doing stuff on my own, but then all of a sudden the eye thing happened that eventually we're gonna discuss later on. And so I stopped for a little until September. I took like a complete break because really mentally I need like to chill down, relax, and try to not overthinking. So I decided to just take summer pretty much completely for free, really try to have fun with my friends and enjoy life. Start again, as I said, during September, October. We worked together with a few clients, as I mentioned before. And yeah, now actually I have a business partner from the Netherlands, which I'm going to meet in Prague. And we are about to scale our new agency, hopefully to 10, 20K in the next 90 days, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. No, awesome. Thanks for sharing. And just one more thing, because I think a lot of people might actually, be wondering, like, might have this question actually. Did you always want to have your own business? Because, I think nowadays we are constantly confronted, with so many ads on YouTube and, Instagram, like all those things, all those gurus being like, yeah, start your own business, do affiliate marketing, do drop shipping, start your own agency. So I think, it's pretty difficult to actually, have a clear mind when it comes to actually starting your own business, right? If maybe you don't know what you actually want to do, or like, if you actually should start your own business. So how was it in your case? Did you always want to start your own business, or did you also get influenced by, I don't know, by ads and social media, this and that? Or like, what was that kind of process?
Yeah. Great question as well. So at the beginning, I didn't really want to create my own business. As I say, I was working as a media buyer, right? And I just really enjoyed doing Facebook ads and advertising set of things. And I was not actually looking for create my own business, even because I didn't really like to interact with people. I didn't really like doing outreach, doing the sales call, I generally just like the media buying side of things. So actually running ads and doing that stuff. And I was completely cool with that, But then at some point I just realized, okay, this is really cool, but sometimes I cannot work the way I want to, because it's not my own business, and at the end of the day I actually work for another person, and maybe I would like to do stuff that I cannot do that. And so I actually thought to myself, okay, maybe is it actually the right time now to try and do something on my own and see eventually how it goes. And worst case scenario, I can always come back and do like media buying, it's full of agency owners that are actually looking for a good media buyer. So there was like zero risk involved. The thing that you mentioned, ads, YouTube video, all those gurus that tell you need to start your own business. Well, yes, you technically speaking, if you start your own business, eventually you will have more money in the long run if you actually succeed with that. But there is probably a big chance that you either not going to succeed with that, and then you have to start all over again, which is completely fine, it's part of the process, or you're just not going to enjoy that. And that's completely fine. Like if you actually don't enjoy that and you're just doing something else, like for me, as I say, was media buying, that's completely fine. You don't have to run your own business doing that because other people will tell you that's the right path. There are people like, for example, John, I think he's a common friend of ours in the academy. He's just running Facebook ads and he's doing like 20K per month, something like that. He's a media buyer. He does not have like his own agency and stuff like that. So you don't need to run your own business. You don't need to do what other people tell you to do just because that's what everybody's doing, right? You can still be succeed. Yeah. You can still like have fun. You can still like do what you love and still make a lot of money, travel. And most of the time, people don't really actually want money. They just might want more freedom. But they are selling this idea like that, yeah, you need like to make 100 grand per month. Or no, you don't need to. Like if you want to, go for it for sure. But I feel like most of people don't really want that. They might just want an extra income, freedom, time, and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it's really good that you actually mentioned that because, especially right now during these times, it's pretty difficult, to stick to something, right? Because sometimes you might actually start something and, then you have a lot of doubt, because you maybe don't see success straight away and you start, to question yourself and like everything that you're doing, like, is this the right thing, to do? Like, why am I not succeeding, right? But I think that the thing that you just mentioned is pretty nice. Like you really just have to find something that actually, makes you happy doing that, right? Because money will come eventually. And if it comes, you will realize that in most cases, it's not everything because money really isn't everything. Money helps you to do certain things. And I think we can both agree on that. But by no means money is everything, right? So if you actually find something that you enjoy doing, and if you can actually stick to that, if you every single day, if you wake up and you're like, yes, let's go, I can't wait to do that. If you have this kind of feeling, then like you can be pretty sure that you already found your passion, right? So you just have to stick to that and, and just follow the process, and eventually you will find success.
Completely true. And you're also going to outwork everyone, right? Because for you, it's not working, it's a passion. So you're generally going to maybe do like 10 hours a day of like this stuff because you really, really like it. So it's not going to feel like you're forcing yourself to do it, right? You actually enjoy that. And therefore, you're going to have like better knowledge. You're going to achieve goals faster. You're just going to outwork anyone who maybe just is in your same path, but really does not enjoy what he's doing. And that's like the beauty of actually doing what you love.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? There will be a lot of ups and downs, and if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you will struggle a lot, and it will literally destroy you mentally and health-wise, So you just really have to find your passion.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you started with drop shipping, then you got more into the agency space and like the ad space. Mm-hmm. And as far as I know, you haven't really, like been doing crazy numbers back then, right? I think you just have been starting out, this and that, trying out several things. You actually found out that, this is the thing that you want to do, which is already a big, success on its own, like by itself. But then the big thing happened, like, the accident, that I think most people are really curious about, to hear what happened actually to you. And I think it was also the time where you and I really got in touch, like really closely, and during this process, or like, during this situation in your life, you also, joined Mind Plus. So maybe, explain to the people listening or like watching what has happened to you in that time.
That's correct. So it was late May 2021. Okay, so it was like 8 months ago, something like that, at the time we were recording this. And so it was about to get summer, our rules, COVID rules were about to go down as always during summer, So people were starting go out again, and so was I with my friends, right? And it was like the night of the 23rd, 24th of May, and I was out with my friends. We was in the city, pretty crowded city, because during summer it goes super quiet because it's quite touristic place. And so I was waiting for my friends to join me in the big square of the city. And what's happened was that a little bit before they actually joined me, they were walking, okay, but as I thought, it was pretty busy. And so they were walking like this way, and then a guy was coming from the other way, and they just like hit with the shoulder, and they just had like a quick argue, they just like say, yeah, whatever, fuck off, like pretty much they just like kill it right there, right? And then they just come to me. So we were just walking in the city, talking, eating and ice cream, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I remember I hear people screaming behind me, and there were like a group of 7-8 people, okay? And I have no idea why, because my friends did not tell me what's happening, because it was like futile, right? Like it really didn't have any sense, because like it was really nothing. And so those people came at us, and I was confused. I was like, why are you screaming? So I went to them, and there were like 3 or 4 in front of me, and I started speaking with them. And I was like, yo, like, why are you screaming? What's wrong? And then they start like, yeah, you like explain the situation in a way that I didn't really understand, because I didn't really know what was happening, what happened back there. So I think like around 5 to 10 seconds passed while I was speaking with them. And all of a sudden, actually, one of them hits me in the face. And they have like, the thing, what's it called?
The metal thing for the knuckles.
The metal thing. Yeah. So they have the metal thing, and it hit me in the face right here, right? And as soon as they hit me, I just like push it away. But as I say, there was like 3 or 4 guys in front of me, and I tried to actually go over this, because I have some amnesia about that. So I'm trying to remember as I come. And then after that guy punched me in the face over here, another one, I believe, actually kind of like went back me and hit me behind my neck over here. And at that point I faint, okay, because they hit me like over here, and I faint. And when I faint, they still actually punch me when I was like down on the ground, right? And so what's happened is that after, I think 30 minutes, I faint, right? So I woke up surrounded by police and ambulance, and I was bleeding, like there was blood all over my shirt, in the ground, my face. And I didn't really remember what happened. So I started asking like my friends, and every 2 minutes I was like forgetting everything. So I think I asked like my friends 3 or 4 times before actually my brain started functioning again, and I start, okay, like what's going on? And they just the police came, as I say, the ambulance came with like a few like doctor, whatever, nurse, and they just like dragged me because the pain was really was quite a lot.
Yeah.
And they brought me to the hospital, and at the moment, like I realized that what was going on, because I started remembering exactly what was going on. And I remember at some point I was in the hall, and keep in mind this was still like during COVID pandemic, so doctors were super slow because COVID had always a priority. So even though I was like about to die pretty much, right, I still was not a priority. So I was in the hall in a bed and waiting for a doctor to come visit me, whatever. And I remember I took like my phone out of my pocket and I make like a photo of myself because I want to see how I look my face, right? And I probably gonna share with you the image if I find it. Otherwise, I'm gonna ask like my brother, maybe he has it. There was literally my right side of the face swollen, like was triple the size compared to the left one, was something like this, right? And my eyes at like back then was closed, right? So because it was really swollen, so I didn't know yet what the doctor will have about to tell me. So I spent the whole night over there. I think I have like a brain concussion, so I threw up like 10 times, something like that, like really like feeling fucking bad. And they keep giving drugs in order to kind of let the pain go away. And then the doctor started visiting me, and I went to this machine that is scan you in order to see exactly what bones is broke.
Yeah.
And so they told me that everything on my right side, literally everything from here, also my nose and my teeth, everything was broke. Okay. Because keep in mind, I said they hit me when I was in the ground. So yeah, at the moment, like luckily, I'm a person who has a lot of control. So at that specific moment, I was not crying, I was not panicking, I was just waiting for, okay, let's see what is going on now. Okay, for sure I'm gonna have to do a surgery, for sure I'm gonna do this, but eventually everything will be all right. So let's just see what they eventually told me. So I stayed there the whole night, and then the morning after, the doctor came and they started visiting me, as I say. And then they also called a doctor for my eye because they wanted to see if my eye was damaged. And that's where they found that I have a scar on my eye, which eventually will make me blind. From my right eye, and I had to actually take a surgery. Like there is a specific fluid that they have to literally with like the thing, as you call it in English.
Oh, you mean the thing for injecting? I don't know right now as well.
that thing, right?
Yeah.
So with that thing, they have to go on my eye, on my pupil, and like inject this kind of gas that eventually will have moved the blood that was on my pupil, because it's toxic for the pupil, to the white part of the eye, right? But the thing was that COVID has the priority. So they say, well, we don't really have place for you right now, so you either book your own hotel and wait 4 days, or we can do nothing. So it was like, fucking Christ. So I just like, what I did was just like went away from the hospital, ran to another hospital, which luckily was one of the best in Italy, and they took me right away. So like, I went there to the other hospital in the morning and or the day after. So one day I stayed home. I slept home. And then the day after I went to the. So keep in mind that time was running, right, as we speak. So the blood was getting toxic. And I went to the other hospital, and I think I've been waiting like 7-8 hours before I actually got taken, because I had to do all the exam again, because the hospital of that was prior didn't really make any document right, so they have to do all over again. Okay, so it was like a fucking mess. So when there, they took me, of course, and they say, okay, we have to do this operation just like they mentioned, but we're gonna do it like tomorrow. So we're gonna make as soon as we can. And so they did, and they actually move part of the blood away, but the problem was that there was still this scar on my pupil where actually the blood came from, right? And this scar like really unfortunate, I would say, is an exact middle of the pupil, and the exact middle of the pupil is the one that is responsible for your eyesight. Okay, if it was like anywhere else, we will not bother, but consider it's an exact middle. This pretty much the doctor, as then like they did our exam, I was really anxious, waiting for the answer. Then they told me, hey, you have this scar and this is not going to go away, so you're going to get blind from this eye, and unfortunately there is no operation that we can do to fix it. So I was pretty like destroyed mentally, because at that point, like my biggest fear, which was maybe I'm going to get blind, actually came true, because I got blind from one eye. And so yeah, of course, like at that point I kind of like a little I start crying, I start like really shaking, and I was like, wow, like this is really happening to me. Because like, of course it's not as bad as, I don't know, I might have lose my legs or something like that, but those kind of stuff usually is just like read about that or listen about that, but you're like, yeah, okay, chance that are gonna happen to me pretty low, right? But actually it can happen. Like, of course I don't hope it's gonna happen for anyone, but it can actually happen, right? And for like really fucking nothing, because I was not even the target of those people were actually looking for my friends, but I was just like close to my friends, so they actually picked me. And all of my friends actually, they were pretty fine. Like one broke his nose, but nothing really like bad. The one that actually really got several injuries was myself. And for nothing, as I say, because I never met this guy. I didn't really bother this guy. I was just in the wrong time, either in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And that's actually tell you how sometimes a random life can be, right? And things just happen, right? And eventually it all comes down to how you actually handle those things, right? Like 99% of stuff is just gonna happen. Like you really have to make sure that eventually you can handle, and you can go through stuff, because as I say, you have no power over that, right? They're just gonna happen.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, first of all, thank you so much for sharing this, with all the people, and like for actually opening up, in public, because it really takes a lot of, power, to actually be able to share that, so huge respect for that. And, also to just get back to the situation, maybe, in that moment where the doctors told you, okay, look, hey, we can't do anything really for you, you most likely, like you will, be blind in this eye. What was going through your head at this moment, what were you thinking, if you remember, of course?
I was like shocked, I was like, like it seems like my life was like, I don't know, like
over in a way.
I was like just shocked, like when you hear like something and you're like paralyzed, you're like, this is not true, this is not true, this cannot be happening to me, like this is not for real. I was not really capable of understanding, like my consciousness know this was a thing, my subconscious was just like denying it, was just like no. So I had like this internal conflict, and as I say, I started like crying and really felt bad. But then so consider this happened during the COVID pandemic. I had to stay in the hospital for this, for a month, and no one could come visit me, so I had to stay alone in a room for a month. Sometimes I have just people that come and go in my room because they also have to do some surgery, but it was really minor stuff compared to mine. So just like 3-4 days, I speak with them a little, then they go away. So I stay pretty much alone for a whole month in the hospital. And for some people, maybe this can be like really a bad thing, because they might want to have someone close, they might want to speak. But for me, it was really, really, really good, like, because everyone was texting me and, they saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, it was like every single day I was waking up, reading those messages. It was like being a loop, all the people were just like pitying me and telling me the same shit over and over and over. So it was like a non-endless story. So what I did was try to cut everyone off. So I delete, I think, Instagram for a while. I blocked pretty much everyone on WhatsApp except for a few people, like my family, and even to my family, I told them, please don't text me unless it's really important and just want to stay alone. And so actually this period that I was alone in the hospital helped me don't go crazy, because then I didn't I could deal with the situation. I could start dealing with the situation with myself, and I didn't really also have to deal with other people. Because here's the thing, like when you actually this stuff happen, that all the people come at you, you feel overwhelmed, because now you not only have to handle your own situation, but you also have to handle other people, because you have to tell, yeah, it's going to be fine, and then maybe they also start crying, so you also feel responsible to them. And so I didn't really want to have that. I really just want to focus on myself and don't look after other people, and really I really don't want to interact with other people, especially friends or family member, because I know how eventually will end up being. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of isolated myself a little, but at the same time, that's actually the time where, I got in touch with you, because I know you were kind of running this program, this group, and I felt like, this was the right moment to actually start getting in touch with people who are like not like-minded people, but they just think outside the box. They are not like, first, they're not in my inner circle, so they see like things in a different way, right? Because people that actually are in my inner circle, they can have feelings for me in a way that they're friends or family member, right? So everything is amplified. Whereas if I actually speak with stranger who are not right, but those people really have a high conception of life and everything, they just see things from an outside perspective, which eventually will not involve feeling, and so will help me understand and go through stuff easier, compared to, let's say, friends or family member that are really first connection with myself, right? And so I thought, okay, this is exactly the right moment and the right time to eventually join this group. And so I did. And I remember I actually spoke with you first, even before joining. When I was in the hospital, we come through WhatsApp. We had like a little chat, and I really like the way you did stuff even back then, and I just like really enjoy your vibes. So it was like, yeah, totally, let's do that. And then I joined a group with you. We did a few calls, and it was tremendously helpful for me, because, as I say, it was like fresh air, like people didn't really know me back then. They knew what happened, but they were not like emotionally involved too much. So I was not beaten by other people. I could still act like a normal human being, still interact. Yeah. And it was just like nice, it was just nice. And yeah, so I'm really, really thankful for that, Adam.
Yeah, I'm, really, really happy to have you as a member as well. And just to get back to to the thing that you said, that you were by yourself for 1 month straight, right, in a hospital because of all the COVID restrictions, this and that. I think obviously every single person is different when it comes to life-changing experiences, but generally speaking, I think, like I know for a fact, it's very, very important to have some time for yourself, because only then can you really understand what happened to you. Only then can you really kind of break it down and kind of find peace with it, right? Because like you mentioned, if you would be surrounded by friends, family, like all those people that you already know from your close and inner circle, you wouldn't really have the possibility or like the time to actually break down what has happened to you, right? Because you wouldn't have like the space and the time to actually think about it, and you only would be surrounded by pity, by sadness, by negativity, because obviously like every single person around you was pretty sad, like most likely, I assume, right?
Yes.
That this happened. So of course that would be like a very, very I don't want to say toxic necessarily, but like not the optimal situation to be in at this given moment in your life. So of course it depends. Like some people can really be by themselves for some time, others can't really do it, so of course it always depends on the person. But in your case, like you just mentioned, it really helped you out, and it had a very, very positive impact on you. And also what I do believe, not to like talk about like the about Mind Plus or like whatever, but generally speaking, I think it was also important that, you know, you have been alone, first of all, and then you kind of connected to a new group of people, you know, like you had like new connections during this state, you know, during this state where you had to, like, you literally had to kind of understand that you are a new person right now, right? Because after like something like this happens to you, you aren't the same person anymore, you know, like physically and also mentally, right? And I think one of the reasons why so many people, you know, because obviously you aren't the only person, you know, that has experienced something like that, you know, other people's experience even, you know, worse things, you know, like, not to put it in perspective, but like, you know, just on paper. And some people just, they just can't do it, you know, they just can't handle it because they're kind of stuck in the past, you know, they want to be the person that they have been before this has happened to them. But you, and I think that's also one of the reasons why you really, you know, got through this so good and so easily, you know. I mean, like, you know, of course, like in most cases, it looks differently, you know, from your own perspective, but like how I kind of experienced it, you really kind of crushed it, you know, because you really quickly accepted, okay, this happened to me. I can't change anything about it anymore right now. I am kind of a new person. You adapted to that and you connected to other people, which, you know, was the Mind Plus community in this case. So I think that really also had a very, very, you know, huge impact on your whole path, you know, from that situation on.
That's exactly, yeah, that's super correct. And, you know, just touching what you said, yeah, you know, when stuff like this happen, the first thing that crosses your mind is, why is it happening to me? That's usually the first thing. And the really second thing is start to compare yourself with the past. So how you was before, how you are now, right? That's really like step by step how it usually goes 99% in mind of people. And I'm not gonna lie, of course, the same happened to me. So the first was like, why me? You know, why me? Like, why me? And then the second thing after a few days was like, start remember all the things before how they were and start projecting and realizing how eventually things will be and how things are now. And you make this comparison, of course, you get sad, right? Because you start seeing what you're missing. But, you know, especially thanks to you and, you know, even the book that you suggest me, The Power of Now, crazy book, really helped me tremendously.
Awesome book.
Yeah, tremendously. I really like start understand, okay, there is no reason to live in the past because there is nothing I can do to change it. Like, if there is something that I could do to change it, then I will. But unfortunately, there is, at least now at the given time, there is nothing I can do to change it. And there is not even too much worry to think about the future and say, yeah, I'm going to be blind to my right eye forever. Because, man, technology is crazy. You don't really know what's going on within 10, 15 years. I can start imagining and I can start projecting my 15 year of life, 20 year of life, my whole life without an eye and start living sad every single day because that's eventually how I see my future. Or I can simply sit and say, okay, this is my future now. Maybe it will be better. Maybe not. I don't know. Is it actually, like, should I actually start thinking about how things should look in the next 60 years from now and act as a consequence? No, because I don't really know now how things will look in 60 years. So there is no reason to overstress myself and say, yeah, I will never see from my right eye again. There is no reason to just make this really pessimistic and depressive projection of my line onwards, just because right now at the specific given moment in time, I don't see a solution for that, right? And so
exactly.
The thing that I start doing as soon as, so I got my surgery, you know, back to the hospital, I got my surgery, but actually I got two surgery because the first one got an infection. So they had to do another surgery, I take one piece. They opened my own skull and now underneath my skin, I have like 5 metal badges here that keep like my bones tight, right? So got the surgery, go out, and the first thing, you know, that actually happened when I was out from the hospital, I got like a little mental breakdown, right? Just because, you know, a thing is when you are in the hospital, right? Like, at least for me, when I was in the hospital, my subconscious mind was trying to tell me, okay, you know, like the situation is like this because you're in the hospital. Eventually, when you're going to go out and back to normal life, everything is going to be back normal, right? So that was how my brain, I think, was trying to not let me go crazy when that thing happened. So when it was fresh, like within like 2-3 weeks, right? So I went out from the hospital and I got like this little breakdown. I think also a lot was due to the fact that I could not sleep. I slept literally, I'm not joking, 1 hour a day for 6 days.
That's crazy.
So I start like literally see things that were not there because of the lack of sleep. And the reason was because of the drugs they gave me. They were really strong. They gave me like, cortisol, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
And they like load me up with that. And one of the side effects is increase of appetite. So I was eating a lot and lack of lack of sleep. So I had to drink, I think like I was drinking 5 or 6 liters a day of water in order to wash out myself from all the stuff that I'm in my body. And then eventually I started sleeping again. But like for 4 or 5 days after I was out from the hospital, it was madness. I could not sleep. It was like the worst thing ever. I think it was even worse than actually the pain itself of the surgery
really?
And everything.
Really?
Yeah, because the lack of sleep really like kills you mentally. It's not like a physical pain, it's a mental pain. Like sleeping 1 hour per day for 5 days, I told you, like I was seeing things that were not even there, right? I was literally going crazy. Like it's such a awful state where you are, you are extremely tired. You really feel that you need to sleep, but you cannot sleep. It's horrific. But yeah, luckily I made it through, right? Wash out myself. I took like some other medicine in order to help me sleep a little. Then yeah, just for a few days, then my normal sleep started coming back, right? But as I say, when I actually went out from the hospital, I kind of had this breakdown, because then all of a sudden my brain could not like protect me anymore, because now I was actually going out back to my normal life, and I was still with just one eye, right? And back in the day, it was even like, now you can see me, like everything seems alright, but back in the day, like my face was swollen and everything, right? So it was really horrific. And I start overthinking, and then as soon as I start overthinking, I start like remembering what we talk about, like to not overthink, to not like project your future onwards, because eventually it's not gonna be like that. So that kind of helped me out, right? So every time I was catching myself overthinking, really be negative, depressing, I was trying to fight it back and say, hold on, you're just like, imagine this right now, like things, because even back then, like one of the things, for example, was that my face was really swollen and I could not open my eye. So it was like always almost closed and I could not really move it. So it was like, oh my God, I'm going to stay like this forever. And like, my life is fucked. Oh my God. And then at the same time, though, there is like another part of myself what I was saying, hold on, like don't overthink, because you are now thinking that you're going to be like this forever, but it's definitely like, maybe it's not going to be the case, right? So there is no reason, because you have no certainty that things are going to be that way. And so there is always
yeah. It's this constant battle in your head, right?
Exactly. So it was not easy, of course, it was not easy. But then I start reading the book. I start like really try to not overthinking and just see things for what they are, right? And not really make, I don't know how you say,
assumptions, or like
assumption. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Assumption about stuff, right? So if a thing was like this, okay, it was like this, like don't make assumption and start thinking, oh my God, it's gonna be this way, because most of the time the things that you're guessing are not gonna be this way. Like you can start guessing, 99% of the time you're gonna be wrong, right?
Yeah, true.
And so I start saying, okay, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna overthinking, I'm not gonna lose myself in this stupid loop of looking into the past, then looking into the future, and then coming back into the past, and then start comparing the present and the past. Like, no, I'm just gonna enjoy what I have now, the present, this specific moment. I'm gonna look this specific moment, and I'm not gonna look backwards or like onwards. I'm just gonna enjoy whatever right now. And like by doing so, I start even getting like, I don't want to say like a positive attitude, but because of course, like there was still a lot of conflict because it was a fresh thing, but I definitely handle things way better than what I expected to, because I start caring less about what my little voice in the head was saying about, oh my God, everything's gonna be so bad, and actually look things for what they are and really act as a consequences. So if I felt sad that specific moment, if I have anything in that specific moment, okay, what can I do in this specific moment to feel better, right? Without looking at the past, like without looking, oh my God, if that night I never went out, then now I will still have two eyes. Maybe, or maybe the day after I will just like walk into a car and die, right? You don't know.
Exactly.
So I just look at the things for what they are. Okay, I'm in this situation right now. What I can do from this point forward to actually feel better, right? What can I do to feel better without really looking at the past? That's how I started actually living the whole summer. And man, I have one of the best summer in my whole life, like hands down, despite COVID rules, despite what happened to my eye, despite everything. I have so much fun. I just like, I was happy, even though everything that happened, and I was not stressed at all, like not stressed at all. And it was crazy because it was like, wow, like how, like at some point I even start thinking like, is there something wrong? How I can be happy when like this shit is happening, right? It's sort of like, wow.
I think, it might sound a little bit crazy for people listening right now, but this only shows that, when you truly live in the present moment and, as you, or like when you really take things as what they are, in the present moment, your life can really, turn around really, really quickly. Even, if you experience something like you in this case, right, Gilberto. And the thing is, I think a lot of people know this, because, eventually, like every single one of us heard something like, yeah, you gotta live in the present, enjoy every single moment. But we don't really, accept it. Like we don't really live that, it's like yeah, I know I should do that, but I think when something like that happens, not every single person, of course, but you luckily you realize that, okay, this happened to me, I can't change anything about it anymore. I won't overthink about, the next 1 week or 2 weeks, because I mean, if we're being honest here, life can change in a matter of seconds, right? I mean, like in your case, for example, like your life changed, in a matter of seconds, literally, right? So there's really no point of overthinking too much about the future, because it's nonsense, So when you eliminate like all this energy and the time that you put into the past or like into the future, and just put all your time and energy into the actual present moment, then you can actually enjoy your life like to the fullest extent, like you did, like in summer. This happened to you, but still, you had the best summer of your life. You met amazing people. We met as well, in person. So life can really change drastically in both sides, of course, but it's always up to you, what you make out of the situation, and if you actually can focus on the present moment.
Exactly. And just like you mentioned, people tend to they know, right, but they don't do that, which I found to be the case many times, right? You know what is the best for you, but simply you just don't do it. And
I think just to add one thing, I think there's a good quote that I read or heard, I don't know when, but it was something like, knowing without doing is not knowing. And I think that's very, very true, because a lot of people know something, but they don't actually do it, they don't execute it actually. So when you aren't doing it, you don't really know it, because if you would actually know it, you would actually be doing it, right?
That's correct. That's 100% true. And so, yeah, like I by saying this, I don't want to, I don't mean that you need to go through like stuff like this in order to actually, understand and apply and do whatever we're speaking right now. But when life really, like, if some people that are listening and they know they went through really like bad shit, right? I don't know if I can say like bad shit. They know that at some point, like, life really puts you like a wall, and you have to know, and you have to like choose, okay, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna like destroy this wall and go forward, or are you simply gonna sit and cry? Because there is no other option. That's it, right? And unfortunately, some people actually decide to sit and cry. They went to depression. They don't really fight back life, and that can be really hard. That can be really hard, because especially if you get used to this situation, eventually that you get depressed, chronically depressed, and you start getting to a point where maybe you even want to take your own life, or you want to hurt yourself, right? And I'm not saying that fighting back is easy, because it's not easy at all. It's one of the hardest things, but you got to remember, like, what can you do in this specific moment to be better? Because what happened, like, you cannot change it most of the time. So you just have to look forward and say, okay, that's the situation, what I can do to actually make my situation, to actually make myself feel better. That's the only question that when I feel like trash, and when like really bad stuff happens to me, I ask myself.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very well said, and I 1000% agree with that. Just maybe one more thing, to get back to the situation, the period where you have been going, through the recovery, mentally and health-wise as well. Obviously, like you realize certain things, which I'm also really happy for, that, we are able to talk today, and share your story with other people that might be going through something similar. So also, because, in that time you also joined, the community, Mind Plus community. How do you think joining, or like, being a part and like, taking part in the calls and everything, how did this actually affect your recovery and like, your whole life in a way, if you just, want to share something?
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, like, back then it helped me tremendously, because it was a fresh new community, fresh new people that I just met, and they have a different conception of, a day-to-day life. They didn't really look things like, everybody's looking at things like pretty, I don't know, childish, I would say nowadays. You guys go a little bit more in depth into stuff, and you actually see things for what they are, and you don't like put your own assumption into stuff, or just pretend stuff like this because that's how you see things. You really try to understand how things are, period, right? And be in touch and speak with people like you, that, as I say, just look things a little bit different, and really try to help you understand, why eventually you feel like this is, why stuff that happen in your life eventually are happening. Because most of the time we carry on, stuff happen to us because we subconsciously want them, right? Like the way we think, in the way we actually look at things. And so just understanding that, it really helped me tremendously change my attitude towards life, and simply be happier in a way, and more relaxed, and look things a little more optimistic. And really, like, when like hard times come, don't really push myself down, or really look down and see everything negative, but actually try to see things for what they are, eventually act as a consequence, right? And that's saved me. Like, eventually, that's the thing, like, eventually people will understand this anyway, but maybe it will take them 1 year, maybe it will take them 3 years, maybe take them 10 years, right? By joining with you, by speaking with other people that are going through the same stuff, and speaking with people that actually went through that and now are succeeding in life, just cut short everything. And so you save a lot of time. And they'll say, maybe you will figure out this anyway. But by joining the community, by really just even speak with people that are have this attitude that we do have inside Mind Plus, you're just gonna, like, I don't want to say hack life, but you're just gonna see, life for what it actually is, and eventually, like, just live a better overall life, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and also, personally, I really appreciate it. But you know that already. So yeah, I mean, like, obviously on this channel, and like, and on this podcast, I always talk about how your mindset literally creates your outer reality, right? That when your inner state is like, on a very, very high level, then your outer reality has to adapt to that. So maybe, as a last point, in a way, where are you now in life right now, Gilberto, if you want to, give us some more insights, and like, how are you feeling right now? What is your life looking right now, now where you really kind of mastered your mind, and, where you really found happiness, in every single day, and like in every single moment?
Yeah, like of course I don't want to say like I master my mind. There is like that's an endless process. Like every day you learn more stuff and more and more and more. But I do definitely feel better mentally speaking. I find myself less and less finding into this black kind of mood that like. There was a period of my life, pretty much from like when I was a teenager, like 15 to all the way up when the accident happened, where there was a really good moment of my life and then really sad moment. So every time I knew I had like a really good moment, I knew like a bad moment will eventually come, right? And I think I was doing this like myself. Like I actually teach myself that after a good moment, a bad moment had to happen. And so subconsciously, apparently, I was trying to do everything I can in order to actually have this bad moment, because that was my paradigm, right? That was my belief that if I have good moment, eventually I will have bad moment. But I started learning that you can actually reprogram your mind. Like you can actually destroy this paradigm, these beliefs that are these habits that are holding you back, and really just not let you succeed or go where you want. And so I found myself less and less as saying this depressive / negative mood that used to appear back in the days more often. Work-wise, I do a work, as I say, I'm agency owner I love. I right now I'm in Vienna. Like I move away from Italy. I'm gonna go to Prague next week. I'm gonna travel this summer. I'm gonna travel as much as I can. Like I'm literally free now, financially speaking. And man, like everything changed so quickly, like in a matter of like 8 months. That is kind of realistic, even because I even found a girlfriend, right? Like back then I've been single for like 5 years. I actually found a girlfriend like this summer, right? So a lot of stuff had happened with such a short time frame, just because I actually decided to look and understand how my mind was affecting eventually my my outcome, my goals, my achievement, everything. And by fix that and by reprogramming that, eventually I got to a point where I'm getting things that I actually want. And as I said, I don't want to sound like cocky. I don't want to sound like, oh my God, I know life, I know this shit, because I don't. There are like a lot of stuff that do not. But I do definitely feel, as I said, less stressful, less depressed, more happy. I take things less seriously. Whenever I go through really hard times, I just start look at things for what they are and act as a consequence, rather than lose myself into this black void. And so I think in a matter of like 8 months, 7 months, whatever, I did like some big progress, and I'm extremely happy on how things are going. And I'm really looking forward for how eventually things will go within the next 4 years from now.
It's awesome, really, really happy to hear that. And also I'm really, grateful that I actually was able to kind of experience, your whole progress, right? From that situation in your life, from that really dark period of your life, to now, where you're really the happiest and best version of yourself in life and also in business, working with amazing clients, with a lot of clients, from all over the world, generating like, multiple 6 figures per month for them, So it's really crazy also for me to see like, like in your case, like when you really master your mind, when you really decide to become a new person, actually, life can change really, really quickly in your personal life, in your, love life, like in your case, you met your amazing girlfriend, and also business wise, So mastering the mind, and I think we can both agree on that, is like, I would say the key to everything, understanding yourself and really being at peace with your mind and with yourself deep down. Because when you actually master that, when you come to that point, because I think I agree with you, like you can't really master, this whole thing that you call your own life, or like your mind, completely, because it's a process. And like, there's no person on this planet that can say, yes, I'm done, I mastered myself. It's a constant process, but still, when you're constantly progressing, when you're constantly improving yourself and your mind especially, life can change drastically very, very quickly. And that's like the most beautiful thing, to see. And like also in your story, to see and to hear what changed in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just like when you actually start understanding things, everything just become more clear. Like you actually understand why things are happening to you, why eventually you ended up in a situation that you don't want to end up. It's because you're dragging yourself subconsciously into that situation. So as I say, mind is the key, right? Like the body is just going to act based on what the mind said. And one of the key elements actually helped me understand how the mind works. It was the fact that we don't just work with our conscious mind, but we also work with our subconscious mind. That's was a key element, because eventually you can, as I say, change your beliefs, and then you're just gonna automatically strike through your goals. It's just gonna be like crazy.
Exactly. It's actually mind blowing, in a way, when you understand this process.
It is. It's crazy.
By the way, for all the people watching on YouTube, sorry for the bright screen. Like the sun is coming out like every single second, and I can't really change the camera. So yeah, you gotta live with that. So Gilberto, maybe before we come to an end for this episode, do you have some last words that you want to share, give the people that are listening or watching right now that might be in a similar situation as you have been in, or that are going through something right now, or trying to build their business but don't see any success, or whatever, if there's anything you want to share?
If I should say one thing, I just want to say that eventually your environment is going to have a tremendous impact on your life, your external factors. So the people that you speak with, your engawi, your friends, your family, even your physical environment, everything is going to directly impact you and your outcome. So if you actually find a group of people like we are, or even you consider join us, where we do understand these things, and we do actually want to help each other to succeed, and really not try to drag you down, push you down. Because what happened, for example, for me back in the days when I started doing this thing, a lot of my friends were push me down, they were man, that's a stupid, find a real job, right? Find something that I don't know, go work 12 hours a day for 10 years an hour, something like that, right? So they really push you down, and this toxic environment eventually is gonna drag you down tremendously, and it's gonna really push you to a negative just a negative view of things, a negative life. And you it's not that you're definitely not gonna hit your goal, but it's gonna take you a long time eventually to hit your goals. Whereas you actually surround yourself with people that, just like you, are striving to your goals. They really push themselves to the limit. They really are work on themselves and really try to understand how eventually they can succeed faster, be happier, have a better life in every shape or form. If you actually surround yourself, with those kind of environment, eventually you're just gonna be uplifted, and you're just gonna succeed or go and be where you want to be way faster compared if you are either alone or in a really toxic environment. So that's, in my opinion, could be a really good reason why people could join the Mind Plus group if they want to.
Very, very, very nice and strong words. Really agree with that as well. Your surroundings can really make or break you. So, whatever, it really doesn't matter if you want to join, if you don't want to join, but just keep in mind that it's really important what you surround yourself with, when it comes to people, places, activities, all those things, they can really make or break you at the end of the day. So yeah, Gilberto, thank you so much once again for your time and for sharing your story, with all of us today. I think a lot of people can actually, learn a lot from your story, because I personally learned a lot from your story as well. Really motivating to see you and to hear your story as well. So yeah, big thanks to you once again for being on this episode.
Thanks to you, Adam. Really appreciate it.
And once again, if you're watching right now, and if you are a business owner, or if you want to start a business and need somebody to take care of your ads, then Gilberto is your man. He's an absolute beast and a wizard when it comes to Facebook ads. So make sure to check him out on Instagram, DM him. I will mention link your Instagram down below in the description.
Appreciate it.
If you considered, joining Mind Plus, then you can also find the link down below. You can speak directly with me. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching, or like listening when you're listening on Spotify. Have a wonderful day and see you next time. Bye-bye.